Hi folks, Steven here and welcome into TK Power Sports. Sea-Doo has just revealed its 2026 lineup and I want to tell you all about it. The headline here has to be the new 300 horsepower switch, but there's a whole bunch of other changes. So in this video, we're going to go through all of it and then talk about that more powerful switch, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's start by talking about the Switch Pontoon, and again, the big news, you can now get a 300 horsepower switch thanks to the Rotax 1630 Ace powertrain being added to the Pontoon. Now, no, it's not every switch you can get it in. There's 5 different configurations that can come with the 300 horsepower. They are the 21-foot Switch Cruise, the 21-foot Switch Cruise Limited, the 21-foot Switch Fish, and then either the 18 or 21-foot Switch Sport. So there is one configuration, the Switch Sport, where you can get a 300 horsepower powertrain on an 18-foot boat. Now the other upgrade, which felt necessary according to Sea-Doo because of the new engine, is a larger fuel tank. We are now getting a 176 liter fuel tank that's about 46.5 US gallons. So yes, Sea-Doo gave us more power and they matched it with a larger fuel tank. So how much of a difference is the 300 horsepower really going to make? Well, Sea-Doo says that this new more powerful switch should get up on plane 40% faster, and they also said that's one of the complaints they heard a lot out in the marketplace was customers just expecting the boat to get up on plane quicker. So yes, it's going to hit plane 40% quicker, and they say you should expect about 15% more top speed. They wouldn't give us a specific top speed number. Of course, top speed is so variable based on weight and water conditions and weather conditions. So yeah, they don't want to pin a number on it, but they say it should be 15% faster than the less powerful boats. So that is always nice to hear that we're getting that performance bump. And you know what? More choice is always a better thing, right? So nice that customers can now get this high horsepower model. That new powertrain's the biggest upgrade, but there's a whole bunch of small stuff that Sea-Doo has done to the Switch for 2026. Things like there are now adjustable handlebars on the 230 and 300 horsepower models, and there is a standard depth finder now, which is located on the dash display in both the 4.5-inch digital display and the larger 10.25 inch touchscreen. So it doesn't matter what screen you're getting that standard depth finder. Sea-Doo is also expanding the availability of the rear corner doors. Now they're rolling out to the Switch Cruise and Cruise Limited to give you more options for getting on and off the boat. Now talking about that Switch Cruise Limited, that is the top end model, and Sea-Doo still wanted to do something for that model to differentiate it because it got the 300 horsepower, but so did some other Switch boats. So one of the unique features that's going to come standard on the Switch Cruise Limited is a new Bimini gas spring system. So essentially this is a double bimini and it has gas assist shocks, which are going to help you when you're going to lift it up. It's just going to make it that much lighter and easier to deploy. And for now anyways, that is going to come only standard on the Cruise Limited 21 foot. There's also a new tech package that's been added for 2026. It brings along 2 corner tables with 2 speakers each, an amplifier and a subwoofer, plus the 10.25 inch touchscreen, and it is going to be available on select Switch Cruise and Switch Sport models. And then accessories are another thing that Sea-Doo focused on for 2026, and there's some neat ones they have added. First of all, there's these rail-mounted tables, but now they have a full barbecue setup which can be placed on that rail, so that's going to be nice if you're out and trying to make some food. There is a new pop-up change room with emergency toilet, and then there's a new front dodger, which essentially is going to hang off of that bimini and create more of a closed-in cab. So if you're out on the water and a bit of rain comes in and you don't want to have to go in and you want to just, wait it out, you can deploy your little dodger from up top and that's going to cover you up. So that's a pretty neat little upgrade as well. Now let's move on to the Sea-Doo PWC side, and there's really just one big piece of news, which is that the 10.25-inch touchscreen is rolling out to more models. This thing was introduced last year, and it was only available on the 2025 GTX Limited 325, but now this larger touchscreen is going to come standard on the 2026 RXP-X, the Fish Pro Trophy, the Wake Pro, the Explorer Pro, and it will be available as an option on the RXP-X. Now, I'm not going to get into every detail of this screen, but I can tell you some of the highlights, and probably the biggest one, and Sea-Doo really made a big deal out of this, is the group ride functionality. If you get a bunch of Sea-Doos together and they all have the larger touchscreen, you can track each other in real time, you can chart routes, and then you can send them between units. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of connectivity if you go out with a whole bunch of Sea-Doos. And for more of my thoughts on the screen, here I am reviewing it on the GTX Limited 325. Let me take you through some of these basic operations on this touchscreen. First of all, let me just say it looks really sharp, nice to your eyes. We haven't had a ton of sunlight today either, but the little bit that we did have, I didn't notice any glare, or it never got tough to see, anything like that. So yeah, and you have control over all of these different things, your media, so if you hook up a Bluetooth device, you can crank your music. There's your statistics, how far I rode today, my average speed, how long I was out riding, and you have different trips, so you can set a trip A versus a trip B. Vehicle, this is going to tell you what settings the vehicle is in. You can access the IDF, that's the Intelligent Debris-Free Pump System, which will essentially blow out any weeds or anything you have stuck up into your intake grate. That's an excellent feature. And then yeah, even more than that, vehicle information, your VIN, all the different numbers you're going to need. Plus, you have maintenance minders here too, so when this thing needs its maintenance, it's going to let you know. Over here we can go into preferences, and there's just so many different things you can set up, the way the screen looks, the Bluetooth, all the different units, anything you need. So yeah, and then finally, this works with the BRP Go app. So you get the app on your phone and you can control a number of different things, including the navigation. There is built-in navigation here, but it works way better if you're hooked up to that BRP Go app on your phone. Yeah, I love the functionality of this huge touchscreen. Technology was clearly the focus for these 2026 upgrades on the Sea-Doo lineup, and for good reason. Sea-Doo says that, according to their research, 50% of Sea-Doo riders look at their phone every 10 minutes. And then they also said that 70 to 80% of new Sea-Doo buyers are getting the audio package right from the factory. So then is it any wonder that Sea-Doo also rolled out a new 80-watt sound system for 2026? So yeah, you're gonna be able to blast your music louder than ever. Finally, one other accessory that caught my eye is this. That is a Link rear floating mat holder. These big sort of lily pads or floating mats have become extremely popular, and people generally just bungee them or tie them onto the back of their unit. Well, now Sea-Doo has recognized a need in the marketplace, and they've come out with a specific accessory for that. So I like to see this. You know, they're flexible, they watch what's going on in the marketplace, and then they can adapt and bring a product out that really caters to one specific thing. But pretty cool. And that Link rear floating mat holder, it's available on the Switch as well. Well, folks, we're coming to the end of this one. Now, I should throw up pricing. I'm not going to read out all the numbers, but here is essentially the entire Sea-Doo lineup, pricing in the US and Canada. And yeah, on the top end, there's no doubt these things have gotten pretty dang expensive, but you are also getting a load of features, and Sea-Doo's constantly innovating and trying to make things better every single year, so I appreciate that. And now, of course, I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Do you like the upgrades? Are you interested in the 300 horsepower Switch? Let me know down there in the comments below. And then, as always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to TK Power Sports and see what we're testing next. See ya.